Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about the February 19th Las Vegas MSNBC debate number 9 and Michael Bloomberg and the question of whether the Democrats are about to get their very own brand of Trump. All right, so let's talk about this. All right, so Donald Trump, whoo boy. He has rewritten American politics for at least 2 centuries. I truly believe that. I have a political science degree. I studied politics. I have a political science degree. And I'm a political wonk. Right? Like, I love politics. But I also literally know politics well. I have a degree in it, right? And there are people, and they study politics. And when you go to get a degree in politics going forward for the next 200 years, you ain't going to be able to get a degree in American politics without hearing Donald Trump's name, because he's rewritten the rules. He is truly incredible, right? Now, not in a good way. like he's just but he's amazing. He's really transformed politics so they work under his own rules. That is, you got to pay attention to that, right? Because power is important, and when it comes to politics and controlling power, Donald Trump's very good at it. And so you cannot ignore his tactics and his strategies. You can disagree with him all you want, but you can't ignore him. He's incredibly formidable. He's incredibly intelligent. All right. Now, if you think I'm wrong, pay attention. Look around the world. 2 other countries have decided to get their own Trumps. What? Is that correct? Yes, it is. I'll tell you which countries. Great Britain, the UK, the United Kingdom, they got their own Trump. His name is Boris Johnson. And if you think I'm wrong, just go look at like tons and tons and tons of different articles that say Boris Johnson is the English Donald Trump, right? And they're like, oh yeah, he's a lot like Donald Trump. And Britain looked at what was happening in America, looked at our stock markets going through the roof, looked at unemployment with absolute historic lows. And just like, holy, chicken in every pot. And they're like, oh my God. And the UK was like, yeah, let's get a Trump. Let's do that, right? Where's the other country that recently got their own Trump? Canada. Canada got their own Trump recently. They did it in 2019. Who's Canada's Trump? Justin Trudeau, right? And I hear you're like, wait, what? Wait, Scott, Justin Trudeau isn't like Trump. Yes, he is. If you think Justin Trudeau isn't like Trump, so did the Canadians. They thought he wasn't like Trump either. And then Trudeau, September 2019 happened. There was some very interesting news events that happened in September 2019. And right before the election, the second election where Trudeau was going to be, where the Canadians had a chance to go, oh my gosh, Trudeau does have one very specific sentiment that is a lot like Donald Trump's sentiment, right? Oh, Trudeau does align with Trump on one really specific thing. Oh, and that's not a good thing at all. So Justin Trudeau is very similar to Donald Trump on one really specific thing. If you think I'm wrong, take a look at the Justin Trudeau news articles that came out in September 2019. And then the Canadians were like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll take our Trump, right? Like, we'll take our Canadian Trump. And so you have an English Trump now, Boris Johnson, and you have a Canadian Trump now, Justin Trudeau, right? So everybody's getting there. So America has their Trump, that's Donald Trump. UK has their Trump, that's Boris Johnson. Canada has their Trump, that's Justin Trudeau, right? And then and now the Democrats are like, ooh, boy, Donald Trump's really crushing it, man. Maybe we should get a Democrat Trump. Mike Bloomberg. Right? Now, why am I saying that Mike Bloomberg's a Trump? Well, first of all, I got to see him in Debate 9. Right? Like, he talked lots about himself in Debate 9, and lots of other candidates talked about him too. And they said things that he didn't even bother to deny. In fact, he fully confirmed them. So one, basically, the biggest one is tough on crime. Oh my goodness. Mike Bloomberg is super tough on crime. All right, yeah, really, really tough on crime. He had this policy called stop and frisk, and he used it in New York. Then he apologized for it. Then he got called on it in the debate, and then he said, okay, let me talk about stop and frisk. He was like, oh, well, I did stop and frisk, and I think it was a mistake, but look at the results. And I'm like, whoa. And I agree with Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren really slammed him against the wall, the political wall, as soon as she's like, you just defended stop and frisk again. I totally agree with her. He ended his talk about stop and frisk by saying, look at the results. That is a full-throated defense, in my opinion, of stop and frisk. I think, in my opinion, even though he's apologized for it, I think that Michael Bloomberg is still for stop and frisk in his heart of hearts. So, and that ain't cool. I'm totally against for stop and frisk. I think that's a terrible policy. So one, very, very tough on crime. That's very true. That's very Trump. Very, very pro-wealth. That's very Trump. Very, very Trump. Also, somebody who was accused who is really a Democrat, but who is really this is so funny. Who people really can't decide if they're a Democrat or a Republican. That is very Trump. Very, very, very Trump. Trump was a Democrat who changed his feathers to run as a Republican. And actually, Bloomberg is a Republican that changed his feather to run as a Democrat. So that is very, just like the putting on whatever feathers you need at the moment and using a party as a vehicle. That's very Trump. Very, very, very Trump. So, and then a very brash spirit. He has a very brash spirit. He really projects a lot of arrogance, in my opinion. I think maybe that just comes with billions. When you have billions of dollars, I guess, maybe you don't get billions of dollars without a certain level of arrogance. Maybe that's how it works. But he's got a ton of arrogance, in my opinion, just like Trump. So Mike Bloomberg, in my opinion, is a Democrat Trump. And so the question right now is if the Democrats are getting ready to get their own brand of Trump. Exactly the same way the UK did, and exactly the same way Canada did, and exactly the same way America did in 2016. Exactly the way the Republicans did, right? So is the Democrat base the fourth group to say, oh yeah, we want our own Trump? That very well may happen. I think that is a question that is spinning up right now in the 2020 U.S. presidential primary election, and the question is on the table now because of Debate 9. I really feel like Bloomberg was invisible before that. I'll tell you get this. This is pretty amazing. Before Debate 9, I had never seen Michael Bloomberg speak even a single sentence. I was aware of his existence because he's the president of because he was the mayor of New York, but I never see him speak a single sentence. But now I know he is posing the question to the entire Democrat base. Would you like your own Trump? Would you like a Democrat Trump? That's a fascinating question, right? I know the answer for me. No, I don't want a Democrat Trump. I sure as heck don't. What's your answer to that question? I'm really curious. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider, by the way, all that is my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. Would you like a Democrat Trump? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.